The Valorian Empire had conquered 47 star systems in 300 years. Their warships moved through space like silver gods. Their weapons could turn planets into dust. Their soldiers never knew defeat. Every species they met had fallen to their knees and begged for mercy. The Valorians believed the universe belonged to them. They believed every creature was born to serve their empire. Then they found Earth. Admiral Threx stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion. His gray skin reflected the light of 1,000 stars on the viewscreen. His 4 eyes watched the blue planet spinning slowly in the darkness. It was small. It was weak. The readings showed primitive technology, nuclear power, chemical rockets, simple satellites orbiting their world. Threx smiled with his sharp teeth. This would be easy. This would be another quick victory. The fleet had 200 warships. Each one was bigger than the largest Earth city. Each one carried weapons that could crack continents. The Valorians had sent this force because protocol demanded it, not because they needed it. A single ship could have done the job, but the Emperor wanted to show power. He wanted the humans to understand their place before they even thought about fighting. Threx opened a channel to the planet. His voice boomed across every radio frequency on Earth, every television, every phone, every computer. The whole world heard his words at the same moment. He spoke in their language because the Valorians had been watching them for months, learning, studying, preparing. People of Earth, I am Admiral Threx of the Valorian Empire. Your planet now belongs to our Emperor. You will surrender all governments. You will surrender all weapons. You will surrender all resources. Your people will serve the Empire. Resistance means death. You have one rotation of your planet to accept these terms. This is not a request. This is your fate. The transmission ended. Threx leaned back in his command chair. His officers waited in silence. They had done this many times before. Every species reacted the same way. First came fear, then came panic, then came acceptance. The strong bowed because they understood power. The weak bowed because they had no choice. Humanity would bow like all the others. One day passed. Earth sent no reply. Threx found this strange. Usually the conquered species sent messengers within hours. They sent diplomats begging for terms. They sent generals offering surrender. But Earth remained silent. The humans continued their daily lives. Cars drove on roads. People walked in streets. Ships sailed on oceans. It was like they had not heard the message at all. Perhaps their communication systems are damaged, said Commander Velrax. His voice was uncertain. No, Threx replied. They heard us. They are choosing to ignore us. This had never happened before. The Admiral felt something he had not felt in 50 years of conquest. He felt curious. What kind of species would ignore an invasion fleet? Were they stupid? Were they suicidal? Or were they something else entirely? On Earth, the world's leaders gathered in emergency meetings. They argued and debated and shouted. Some wanted to surrender. Some wanted to fight. Some wanted to negotiate. But while the politicians talked, the military acted. Deep underground bunkers activated systems that had been sleeping for decades. Weapons designed for a war that never came were brought online. Satellites shifted their orbits. Submarines changed their positions. Soldiers moved to hidden bases. The whole planet prepared for battle without saying a single word to the enemy above. General Maya Chun stood in the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. She was 53 years old. She had gray hair and tired eyes. She had fought in 3 wars and had watched good people die. She hated war, but she hated slavery more. Around her stood officers from every nation on Earth. For the first time in human history, there were no enemies in that room. Only humanity. They expect us to kneel, Maya said. Her voice was calm but hard like stone. They have conquered dozens of species. They think we are just another conquest. They think we will break like glass. Can we win? Asked a Russian general. His face was pale. Maya looked at the screens showing the alien fleet. 200 ships. Weapons beyond human understanding. Technology centuries ahead. The math said humanity had no chance. The math said they should surrender. I don't know if we can win, Maya admitted. But I know we can make them bleed. I know we can make them remember Earth forever. And maybe that is enough. The second day began. Threx sent another message. This time, his voice carried anger. Humans, your silence is foolish. We have destroyed civilizations far greater than yours. We have burned worlds that made your planet look like dust. Surrender now or face complete destruction. This is your final warning. Earth's reply came 30 minutes later. It was not words. It was action. From hidden bases around the world, thousands of missiles launched into space. They were not nuclear weapons. They were something new, something the aliens had never seen. The missiles carried payloads designed by scientists who had worked in secret for decades. Weapons built to fight an enemy from the stars. Weapons humanity hoped they would never need. The first wave hit the Valorian shields. The shields held. The aliens laughed. But the missiles had not been meant to destroy. They had been meant to study. Data flowed back to Earth. Human computers analyzed the shield frequencies. They found the weakness in seconds. The second wave adjusted. The missiles changed their energy output. They matched the shield harmonics. And this time, they went through. 12 Valorian ships exploded in the first attack. Threx watched in disbelief as his vessels turned into fire and metal. His crew screamed in shock. This was impossible. Primitive species did not fight back. They certainly did not destroy Valorian warships. Return fire, Threx commanded. Burn their cities. The Valorian weapons struck Earth. Plasma cannons, particle beams, energy weapons that had melted mountains on other worlds. They aimed for the major cities. They aimed for maximum death. But the beams hit nothing. The cities were empty. The humans had evacuated billions of people in 2 days. Underground shelters, hidden tunnels, mountain bases. The whole population had moved like ants before a storm. The aliens destroyed empty buildings, empty streets, empty shells of civilization. And while the Valorians wasted their firepower on ghost cities, the humans struck again. Submarines launched missiles from every ocean. Spacecraft that had been hidden on the dark side of the moon powered up their engines. Weapons platforms hidden in asteroid belts came to life. Earth had been preparing for this day for longer than the Valorians knew. Every nation had contributed. Every scientist had worked. Every soldier had trained. Humanity had looked at the stars and known that someday something would come. The battle lasted 3 days. 3 days of fire and death and destruction. Valorian ships fell one by one. Human weapons evolved with every hour. Scientists worked without sleep, finding new weaknesses, building new tools. Soldiers fought with desperate courage. Pilots flew missions they knew they would not survive. Ordinary people became heroes. Threx lost half his fleet in the first day. He lost another quarter in the second. By the third day, he was down to 30 ships. His proud armada was broken. His confident officers were terrified. The species that should have knelt was standing tall and hitting harder with every passing hour. How is this possible? Threx whispered. His voice was broken. They are primitives. They should have fallen in hours. Commander Velrax had no answer. No one did. The Valorians had conquered species with better technology. Species with larger populations. Species with more resources. But none of them had fought like humans. None of them had refused to break. On the fourth day, General Chun sent Earth's first official message to the alien fleet. Admiral Threx, we have studied your ships. We have studied your weapons. We have studied your empire. You have taken many worlds. You have enslaved many peoples. But you have made a mistake. You thought our small planet meant weakness. You thought our young civilization meant stupidity. You were wrong. Maya paused. Around her, the command center was full of exhausted but determined faces. We are humans. We have been fighting each other for 10,000 years. We have invented weapons to kill ourselves 100 times over. We have survived ice ages and plagues and disasters that should have ended us. We are still here. We will always be here. And we do not kneel. You have 30 ships left. You can flee back to your empire. You can tell your emperor that Earth is not worth the cost. Or you can stay and die. The choice is yours. But know this. If you stay, not one of your ships will leave our system. If your empire sends more fleets, we will destroy them too. And when we are strong enough, we will come for you. We will free every species you have enslaved. We will burn your empire to ash. Not because we want conquest, but because no one should ever kneel to tyrants. The message ended. Threx sat in silence for a long time. His remaining officers waited for his command. They expected him to order a final attack, a glorious death in battle. That was the Valorian way. But Threx was old, and he was tired, and he had finally met something that terrified him. Not the human weapons. Not their technology, their spirit, their absolute refusal to accept defeat. He had seen species fight before. He had seen them resist. But he had never seen anything like humans. They fought like they had nothing to lose. They fought like every death only made them angrier. They fought like winning was less important than never surrendering. All ships, Threx said slowly, set course for home. His officers stared at him in disbelief. Sir? Commander Velrax asked. We are leaving. The Emperor will be angry. He will probably execute me. But I will not waste more Valorian lives on this planet. Let someone else try to conquer Earth. Let the Emperor send 1,000 ships next time. It will not matter. These humans will not break. They will not bow. And I will not be the admiral who loses our entire fleet to a species that should have been easy prey. The remaining Valorian ships turned away from Earth. They activated their faster-than-light engines. They fled into the darkness between stars. And they never looked back. On Earth, people emerged from their shelters. They looked up at the sky where the enemy had vanished. There were tears and cheers and embraces. Millions had died. Cities were destroyed. The cost had been terrible, but humanity had survived. Humanity had won. General Chun stood outside the command center for the first time in days. The sun was rising over the mountains. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. What now? Asked a young officer beside her. Maya watched the dawn paint the sky in gold and red. She thought about the Valorian Empire. She thought about the species still enslaved. She thought about the universe waiting beyond their solar system. Now we rebuild, she said. Now we grow stronger. And someday soon we go out there. Not to conquer. Not to enslave, but to make sure no one ever threatens our home again, and to show every species that kneels to the Empire that they can stand up too. The young officer nodded. His eyes were full of something new, something that had not existed before the invasion. Hope, purpose, pride. Humanity had faced the greatest empire in the galaxy and had refused to break. They had been small and primitive and should have been easy victims. But they had made the conquerors kneel instead. The stars were waiting. And humanity was ready,